Wizards of the Coast finds itself in hot water over its current pricing structure. As Wizards of the Coast struggles to maintain profitability for Hasbro versus the value for the consumers of these products, there is a bigger underlying issue that is finding its way to the surface. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. And the question is the value. The value of a sealed product versus the singles that you find inside the product itself. No matter which product you're buying from Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast nowadays, there is a real issue with the prices of the products being sealed and the value found inside the box. When you look at a large YouTube channel or a small YouTube channel, most of these YouTubers are telling you to buy singles, including myself, because the value of the sealed product doesn't justify opening a box anymore. They keep jacking up the prices. They keep raising it to the point where players can no longer just afford to enjoy a box. They have to go together with a group of friends. I mean, with the upcoming Wilds of Eldraine, box prices here in Canada went up another $10 a box. It may not seem like a lot, but on top of the other increases we've seen in the last couple of years, it's made a box go from $130 all the way up now to $164. That is quite an increase per box, and that's for draft. That is not for a set box or a collector product. Here in Canada, you also got to add on 13% tax on top of all of that. Here in Ontario anyway, every province is different. I look at these products now, as well as many of you do, and you just can't find the value that you need to justify opening the box. And it actually gets worse from there. Because as these products become more despairingly separate from each other, the singles versus the sealed, it's actually making the singles go up in price. And what I mean by that is, as the box prices rise in value and cost so much to open, it makes the singles inside worth that much more because less people are actually opening the boxes themselves. It ends up being at the store level where they do mass box openings. And of course, when they open a box, they've got to justify a certain price point. This is an unregulated card game. The value of these cards is in the eye of the beholder, and stores are going to charge what they have to charge to make opening boxes make sense. Players will find value in these cards and decide to sell them on the secondary market for whatever value they can get, be cash or trade. And every time Wizards of the Coast gives another price increase, because Papa Hasbro's got to be fed, you got to feed the shareholders, it gets a little bit worse. And the funny thing is, when you look at these prices now and you start comparing it against reserve list cards, it really gets a little bit strange. It's not adding up the way it used to. Let me show you something here. Let me show you this first image. It's kind of interesting. This is Volroth's Stronghold. This is from the set Stronghold. This is the one where you can pay one black, one other, put a target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. Legendary land, okay? And it taps for colorless. It's $81. Because, right now with the market the way it is, the price have fallen for reserve list cards. Here's Sheoldred the Apocalypse. This is Dominaria United. This card is $75 US. These cards are almost the same price. Look at the values. Look at how far we've come when the product pricing is ending up like this. And if you think that was the end of it, oh no. We've got the Anvil of Bogarden. Now this artifact is $39. It's from Visions. And then Nissa, the Resurgent Animist from Aftermath. A brand new set. Just came out a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Guys, it's $38. Okay? These are from those little 5-pack boosters, and I've opened dozens of this card. But it's $38. Now, why is that? Why do these prices end up this way, knowing that these cards are going to get reprinted? You have to understand, it's coming around again. Nissa's going to get reprinted. Sheoldred is coming around in some other premium product further down the line. It's going to end up as either a list card or end up in a Commander Masters style product, Modern Horizons 2, whatever product it may be. Wizards of the Coast recognizes the value of that sought after card and will shove it in somewhere else because it can justify the box price. But anyone who bought that card at $75, who spent hard-earned money, will see their value erode over the next couple of years as the reprints start hitting the market. And it gets worse from there. Let me share this one with you. Here you have Jeweled Lotus Full Art Extended Foil, okay? That's what it's supposed to be anyway. I couldn't find the image. $680 US for that card. Now, when it first came out, it was up to like, I think, $1,100 US. It's fallen a little bit, but it's kind of been holding here for a while. And there you have Underground Sea from Revised. They have a $10 difference. $10. Now, there's other versions of the Jeweled Lotus that only go for $100. We know that. But it's the idea that that type of imagery and artwork is being valued at that level versus a reserve list card. Knowing that the Jeweled Lotus is coming around again in Commander Masters already. Do you really expect that value to hold? Is Wizards of the Coast going to leave this card, this type of artwork alone, this full art extended, never printed again? No. They will find value there. They will have those prices down in their need to feed the machine. Now, when I look at this and I say, forget being Underground Sea, I could get 2 dual lands near mint at almost the same price. And if I went for moderately played, I could buy 2 dual lands for the price of that Jeweled Lotus, right up until that point where they reprint it again. Because every time they reprint, they bring the value down. But there's nothing protecting the consumer who bought it at the original price. And this is where players are finding that value issue. Wizards is not maintaining any type of regulatory thing for reprinting, at least none that we know of. It seems like they're reprinting haphazardly just to get cash from our wallets into their pocketbook, onto their spreadsheets so they can say they made money for the company. But how about the player? Who, yes, they get to enjoy the card and play with it. Maybe they got lucky opening a pack, but they see the value eroded over and over again with each new reprinting. And every time a new amazing card comes out, they become that much more leery, worried about getting that card and wanting to trade it in right away because they know it's going to get reprinted again. They know the value is going to disappear. And yet they still jack up the prices for their products in the sealed market, bringing those prices higher and higher, and it ends up making reserve list cards look that much more attractive for everyone who told me reserve list cards are too expensive, I can't afford them. But you went and bought a Shieldred, and you said you wanted to buy a Volroth Stronghold and they're $6 apart? Or you wanted to buy a Wheel of Fortune, a Fork, a Brain Geyser, a Metal Worker, and 2 Soldevi Excavations versus buying that Jeweled Lotus? However you want to shape up the price points, knowing those reserve list cards, knowing the value inside the new boxes, everything is messed up. And it seems like it's a real shady gray area for the company right now because those singles are going to stay at a higher price because the boxes cost so much. They cost so much money now to open. The players aren't indulging the way they used to. The average player is not cracking 5 or 6 boxes with some friends on a Friday night. It's not the way products are being opened anymore. It's stores opening it again because they can take that hit and say, hey, we're going to charge what we have to charge to make our money back on these boxes, which means these cards have to have that price point. It's a really interesting time to be around the game like this and see these values and see the new way cards are being valued as they come to market, and seeing players start to kind of recognize that these values are changing. Maybe nobody's making any major moves yet. There's a little bit of grumbling in the background. Players are just kind of noticing it and saying, that just, the price, does that seem right to you? And with more price increases coming along, it's going to change things. And that's why you're going to find yourself in hot water, Wizards, because the value is not averaging out to where it needs to be for players to buy it when they can't afford a box anymore. When the prices keep going higher and you sit and look there and just go, something doesn't add up here for the player. Something just doesn't seem right. And that is something that Wizards will have to answer for sooner or later. 30th anniversary, turn the page. We found the ceiling of what players were willing to pay. Wizards knows that. They may not want to admit it. They may not write you an apology note, but they see the ceiling. And now they're looking at how close can we come to that ceiling before it all breaks loose again. How close can we push things? Can we put enough value, enough stuff in there to make players want to still buy it? That's the question we're going to have to answer. Because I know from a lot of you guys emailing me, when reserve list cards look this attractive, and players used to say they were so expensive, but the new products out there are getting reprinted all the time, and the value seems to be holding fairly well. Something's different, something's wrong, and something's going to change. Let me know what you guys think. Slam some comments down in the comments section. I mean, this is a crazy time to be here, but I'd love to know what everyone's thinking out there in the world of Magic right now. And yes, this is kind of like that awesome time where we get to talk about it. So thanks a lot for joining the Magic conversation today. Thanks for tuning into my daily videos. I upload content each and every day, guys. Slam some comments down there. Subscribe to the channel. Let's keep this Magic conversation going. Looking forward to it, of course. And we'll see you tomorrow for another video. Everyone have an awesome day. Bring a friend to Magic. Have a good time. Oh, here we are at the end. And of course, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons of the channel supporting me each and every day. You guys rock. The patrons know it's true. This content is brought to you by the patrons, the ones who support the channel. Thanks again. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. You're here at the end where I'm just going to say a few things and probably mention something about the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, the Book of the Dead. Guys, the best part is it's a game. Play for fun. Don't worry about all that stuff if you don't want to worry about it. It's the best part. Yeah, they're going to jack the prices until they find a new ceiling. No, the value is not where it should be. And yeah, reserve list cards have never looked cheaper, but at least you have your cards. And if you don't sell anything, you don't buy anything, you don't do anything, you still get to play the game. Still get to chill with friends, still get to have a good time on a Friday night. And really in the end, that's what most of us care about. That's what most of us care about. Having a good time with friends and playing a type of chess-style game that you get to enjoy for as long as you want to play. And that's awesome. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Thanks for hanging out. And remember, shop smart, shop smart.